Guys, how is everybody doing? And welcome to the final reviews of the Exorcist franchise. So today you're going to be getting a two-parter, and I will give my reasons why of The Exorcist, the beginning, and Dominion, a prequel to The Exorcist. So the reason I'm reviewing both of the prequels in one video is because there's an interesting story. So we live in this new world with Zack Snyder's Justice League against Justice League, and other directors wanting their cuts of the film released out. And so, apparently, these two movies happened before Justice League and Justice League, where apparently somebody wrote the script for Dominion, which is the second prequel, and they wrote that movie, they shot it, they made it, but the person who was making it, one of the production companies or something like that, I can't remember who it was, thought there wasn't enough gore in their movie or something like that, and so they brought in Rennie Harlan, who is a famous director now known for Nightmare on Elm Street 4, Die Hard, A Long Kiss Goodnight, and there's another one out there probably where he was coming to do some reshoots within 3 weeks, but then he convinced the production company to give him an extra 5 weeks to shoot and film another film. And so they saw the product, they released Exorcist the beginning, ended up being a flop, and so they told the guy who wrote Dominion, they're like, "No, what? Finish up your movie and we'll release it." Released it with a very limited theatrical release or something like that, or it went to straight to VOD or something like that. I can't remember. But yeah, so I watched both of them, and I was going to film my Exorcist the beginning review before I actually watched Dominion, a prequel to The Exorcist. And when I watched it, I was like, they're both the same fucking movie because I just watched this movie yesterday. So I thought it was stupid. So I'm just gonna go ahead and review Dominion, a prequel to The Exorcist, and Exorcist the beginning all in one video to where you'll probably just get only my thoughts on Exorcist beginning because there's not much to talk about Dominion because that's basically the same movie. But when I get to that film, we'll get to it. But for now, here are my thoughts on The Exorcist the beginning. With my positives on Exorcist the beginning is Stellan Skarsgard in the role of Father Merrin. I think he's a pretty good actor. I've come to love the guy because of the MCU ever since he was in Thor and Avengers and stuff like that. I've come to really like him. I've seen more of his performance work. I've seen more of his work just in general, and I've become a fan of him. And it also helps that he's related to Bill Skarsgård, who played Pennywise in the 2017 and 2019 It movies, where I really like those movies. I'll talk about those movies another day. And he is also related to the other Skarsgård that was in Infinity Pool this earlier this year. I've become a big Stellan Skarsgård fan. He is a pretty good actor. I like him in this movie, but I will admit that some of his lines kind of fell flat and didn't really capture me in a way, I guess you could say. It didn't really fit it. Like some of his lines, he would say it would kind of fell flat and it didn't make any sense. And the way he delivered, I was like, yeah, "You want to do a retake? No, okay." But I do like Stellan Skarsgård. I like seeing him in this movie and its sequel. But Stellan Skarsgård, I like seeing him in this. For some of you who've followed me for a while, I have talked about a few prequels here and there. Is that I am not a big prequel guy. I don't like prequels. They're giving me answers I never asked for. They're telling me stuff that I did not care. They're giving me answers that I just don't want. It could ruin that original film that I love so much. But for some reason, The Exorcist is one of those horror movies to where, you know what? I would be down for a prequel to that movie. I would want to see how Father Merrin got into this business, what Pazuzu is. That was one of my questions about the original Exorcist, like what Pazuzu is. Like, how does Father Merrin in the movie kind of doesn't care what it is, and kind of already has a idea. I do like that, and it doesn't really explain too much. It doesn't give too much away. It doesn't ruin anything from that original movie. It doesn't do anything wrong with it. To me, this just had a good idea of a prequel to where it didn't answer questions I wasn't looking for, but it gave me answers that I actually liked. Final positive is that I did like the third act of this movie to where the love interest of this movie, I forget her name, she was in GoldenEye, which is one of my favorite James Bond movies. She was in that movie, and she's in this movie. She gets possessed by Pazuzu, and you first see her. She looks like Reagan, and I'm not a huge Exorcist fan, but I really love that they brought Pazuzu back to life to where it sounded exactly like Reagan in that original film. It sounded just like her. It looked like her, sounded just like her. Like the first time she speaks, I was like, holy shit, they got her voice right. And I do have an issue with that, excuse me, later on in the movie. But I did think that was pretty cool that we got to see that again. We got to see Pazuzu in action one more time, or maybe he was in The Exorcist 3. I didn't watch the theatrical cut, so I wouldn't fucking know. But it was nice to see that third act, and I did feel that they played a pretty cool tribute to that film in a way, I guess I could say. My mixed aspects, and this kind of has to do with Father Merrin, to where we kind of learn more about him, which I'm not against. But this movie kind of gives you a lot of input on the character, that he was apparently a priest during World War II, and that apparently he had to choose 10 people had to die, and or if he didn't choose 10 people, 20 all basically all of them would die. I don't know if there was 20, but if he did not choose 10 people that would die, the Nazis would have killed everyone. That is an interesting story for the character, but I feel it's giving me answers to the character that doesn't come and play in at all throughout the entire film, to where it's like, okay, that's fine, I guess. But I'll talk about that when I get to Dominion, but to where it just felt random and it didn't need to be there. But I will admit it's something interesting for the character and something very tragic to learn about the character. On to my negatives, the CGI in this movie is horrible. There's two scenes that come to my mind. Well, actually, there's three. The first scene that we get of this movie, to where there's like this cool dolly shot to where we come up from the car and then like down to like the area of this film that takes place, but like the entire time it's doing that, it looks like it's CGI. Now, I don't know if it's actually practical and I'm just a stupid idiot, but it looked like it was just computer generated. I'm like, is that real or is that CGI? And there's a horrible scene to where a kid is being fucking ripped apart by fucking hyenas and every limb of his body, and the hyenas are fucking CGI and they look horrible. And another thing about that scene, to where I have an issue with it, nobody cares afterwards. After that scene happens, they kill a few hyenas, and then the boy is dragged off to presumably a horrible death or something like. They don't really show you; they just show him get dragged away, and they never acknowledge it afterwards. They just kind of go, "Well, that was fucked up, I guess. Let's continue on with the fucking movie." Like they don't acknowledge that, they don't care, they don't bring it up, they don't try and look for his body or wherever the fuck these hyenas took him. Like, what happened there? But the CGI in this movie is horrible. And the third act, which I was just praising, there's a really horrible scene to where fucking Pazuzu, or like the lady that's possessed, is like running down a hall like this, going, "Ah," and then like the Father Merrin is holding up a cross, saying like the religious stuff. It's like the "I condemn you to hell, I cast you out." Just saying the stuff from the original movie, but that looks so bad. Like I was like, is she doing like a moonwalk? Is she like running backwards, running away from him, or is she running towards him? Like I honestly couldn't tell, and I was like, what is going on here? I also really think this movie has a pacing issue, to where I was kind of bored throughout this entire movie. People are talking. All this kid just got ripped apart by hyenas. More talking, more explanation. All this dude's upside down on a cross. More talking, more talking. Do you understand what I'm getting at now at this point? To where they basically had no idea what to do until the third act of the film, to where they were just like, we have no other ideas except for the third act. Write random shit down. Boom, you get boring shit of people talking. No. If you're gonna entertain me, can I be entertained and not having to sit there like, can you just shut the fuck up and get to demon possession shit? This movie is 2 hours long. 2 hours. And it's just random bullshit throughout the entire movie. It's just talking, talking, talking. Oh, this person just got killed. Oh, this person's upside down on a cross. Oh, then there's more just boring shit. Like, could you have just done something interesting? Small. This movie has a big jump scare, like a huge jump scare issue where there's like fake jump scares, or this like guy that's like dying, which is like a subplot going on, which goes absolutely nowhere. Or was that in Dominion? I can't fucking remember. They're both the same movie, to where he gives like this girl like a keychain and shit, and he does like a weird jump scare. He's like, "Hey, what are you doing in here? Hey, I'm trying to sleep." Like, there's like a lot of weird jump scares in this movie, to where I was like, "Oh shit, I was supposed to be scared." Well, too bad I wasn't. All in all, guys, I don't hate The Exorcist at the beginning. I don't care for it though. I thought it was okay. I did not love it. I did not like it. It's not a very good film, but I will say this. If I did watch this movie first, I would probably be interested to what would be happening in The Exorcist. If I watched this before The Exorcist, I'd be interesting to move. I would be interested to move on. But if you are a hardcore Exorcist fan, and you want to see where everything began. Maybe this is worth a watch, but all in all, it's a very boring film. It has a huge pacing issue. So this is just a movie where I say just go ahead and skip it. What do you guys think about The Exorcist beginning? Have you seen it? What do you think about it? Do you like this movie? Do you not like this movie? Let me know in the comments below what you thought about it. And now we're gonna move on to Dominion, a prequel to The Exorcist, which is the same movie, kind of. Can't really talk much about Dominion because it's basically the same thing. When I watched this movie, I was like, I'm basically having deja vu. There's nothing different about this movie, but I will say this. There are two things that this movie fixes from beginning. So I do feel that the character of Father Merrin is a much better character and has much more to character development. I also thought the side characters were interesting because in the beginning I did not care. I didn't feel there's any chemistry there. But in this movie, I did feel that there was a connection with the characters and I felt their subplots going on in the film was interesting and exciting to where I want to see more of it. That is one thing that this movie fixes. Did feel that this movie did a better job exploring Christianity, and kind of exploring that and exploring Father Merrin's beliefs more, like with the Nazi stuff going on, which happens again in this movie. I did like that, but this movie offers nothing different to what Exorcist beginning gave me. But I also feel that the third act of this movie just I felt that it was bad to where there's like this movie this movie doesn't even feel like an exorcism movie, I will say that, to where you write this movie to be a prequel to The Exorcist. If I watch this version of the film, I would not be interested to watch the next movie. If you did not tell me that this was an exorcism movie or an exorcist film, I wouldn't know that because it doesn't feel like an Exorcist movie. They don't bring up Pazuzu. They don't bring up any of this demon possession stuff. But instead of that, we get this weird bald dude wearing a fucking diaper in the third act of this movie. And he's not scary. He doesn't look cool. And you're supposed to be scaring me. But that's just making me laugh my fucking ass off. I do feel Dominion is fine, but I do feel that it's just not as interesting. I would rather watch the beginning over this movie, but either way, it's the same film. But one movie just has more stuff going on that I'm interested in, and one movie just got there first. So if you're a hardcore Exorcist fan, maybe check this movie out. Maybe if you want to see something different, if you did not like Exorcist Beginning, you might actually like this one. But all in all, it's not a very good movie. It's not a very enjoyable movie. So I'm just going to downright tell you to skip this one too. Let's think about Dominion, a prequel to The Exorcist, and Exorcist Beginning. Have you seen them? What do you think about it? Do you like both of them? Do you like one over the other, or do you not care for either one of them? Let me know. Let me know in the comments below, and we will talk about it. If you like this video, like it. If you love it, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you will get notified for my latest videos. And of course, until my next video, I'll see you all next time.